See, so what you want to do, guys, is if you want to connect your internet together right now, I mean, make sure you understand to upload your content right away. But guess what? Approaching now, since I said Wi-Fi at my biological dad's house, I want to do that. I mean, why? I mean, I am disciplining myself to upload content at my biological dad's only. I mean, and guess what? Approaching, that's how I feel. Like, it's much more how I feel that I need to do that. And it's much more how I understand now that if you just record every single day something, then you must understand that you have to be much more words always. But I understand that woman is pleasure. I see now every single day focus on saying that those people who are more pleasure than words are more unattractive. But those people who are more words and pleasure every single day, you're focusing on understanding that you want to focus on loving your life in different ways, and you want to make sure that you understand straight away when you see people who are on a bike somewhere, when they're on a bicycle in the hood, man. I mean, if they're on a bicycle in the hood, I mean, guess what? I mean, they want pleasure, man. I mean, if they're wearing it, or if they're walking around with hats, and a jumper and a TNs and tracksuit pants in some fucking hood somewhere, 1 hour away, man, from the senior center, or should they fucking more? Let's say, I mean, they are more pleasure. I mean, you can see straight away. So what I do always is understand they're doing drugs. I mean, they're going to do drugs. I can see. I mean, they're walking together, and they look fucking criminal. I mean, they look criminals. I mean, they look like criminals. So what I do is I never have anything against them, but what I do is understand something. Or some guy came up to me to say, "Hey, do you want to come brothel me?" I said, "Nah, man." I said no, and I said this now. I said because I said no, probably that's the best thing for me. But with him, probably he hates me for that. And I said, so what I do is I move on. I can see how angry he is. I can see he comes to me and then he gets angry. So what I want to do is I move on forward and I make sure I let it be this way. I'll make sure always, I never have sex with kids. I'm always nice and beautiful. I'm making sure I understand that she is pleasure. I mean, she's doing pleasure. I understand, but guess what? I'm probably it's more how I feel. And it's more how I understand every single time now. I can say he is more. I can say now if I understand to name them, or as if I name them, then guess what? I'm probably sure I can see it's much more how I feel. But I understand that no matter what, it's much more. You have to understand that no matter what, that since I understand to express myself, I can see it's much more how I understand that there's a block. But I see, for example, Eddie Guerrero's daughter. I can say she's much more. Let's say I can see pleasure at the moment. I can see it, but guess what? I love her anyway. But guess what? I understand. But a little bit that way. I'm just looking to love. I'm looking to love. I'm looking to love everything. So I understand Charlotte Guerrero. Probably he's more pleasure today. Probably she's more pleasure. I can see it. Probably she's more the pleasure guy. Probably I see Vicky Guerrero. I see she's more communication and words today. I can see it. I can say she's more words. So this is just part of Eddie Guerrero's family. So I understand either way. I mean, that's just how I feel, man. I mean, so no matter what, I feel it's just the kind of aspect that if you express yourself like this and you express words about other people and all this, I thank you. See, I mean, Eddie Guerrero is always watching, man. In a sense, so you're always understanding that Eddie Guerrero is a wrestler, so go check him out, man. I mean, he's the froggy guy. He feels the froggy, Holmes. In the sense that what you need to do is love your life in different ways and love to just express people's names. I mean, talk about people's names. In a sense, so if you talk about people's names, then make sure you understand that. Now, since I understand I have to go and really dwell upon something, I understand how I actually see, how I actually always. I can see the pleasure over here. I see how selfish I am. I'm so selfish to keep the food I have for myself over here. I can see it. I can see the food I have is so selfish to just never even give my biological father my food. But that's my food. But guess what? I love it. Well, it's more how I feel. But guess what? No. Well, what I do now is I realize something. Or is that something more about I? I mean, you understand? I mean, that's more about I now. But I'm understanding that no matter what, that since I understand, I have to give my biological dad something here. I mean, I want to talk to him about this hat over here. I want to talk to him about the hat, so he never gets angry. So let's have a look. When Jesus Christ can see this now. Alright, so now what I want to do is I want to talk about the hat. I want to say, where did you get this hat? What's this? Я нашел капу у туалет.
Molim?
Я нашел капу у туалет.
Šta?
Я нашел капу у туалет. Kako to ide?
Gdje si naš?
Ja kažem u toalet.
U toalet? Koji toalet?
Ovaj toalet.
Ne lupe, molim.
Ja ti kažem.
Molim?
Ja ti kažem, a što?
Daj mi uzmi ja jedno, tu sam pa ide.
Ja ti kažem. Ti kažem, a sad... I'll show you something else, Roshi, that's why. Roshi, now, anyway, Roshi, my Biological dad over here. Ja vidim, pa šta radiš sad? Ja vidim, pa ja sam prvi. Ja sam uvijek prvi.
Ajde.
Ja tebe pucam ovako. Ja pucam ovako. Ja sada ovako, ja ti kažem, a slušaj me sada. Ja ti kažem ovako i onako.
Što si za nešto šir?
Ja sad vidim šta je to u pičku, slušaj me sada. Ja, brate, vidim kako tucam ja, slušaj me. But the thing is now, I see that he's trying to make me hit eggs, man. That's the most violent thing I've ever seen in my life. And guess what? I realized there's something now. Because I never want to do that again. I never want to do that again. And guess what? I realized it's much more how I feel. And guess what? I realized that's the most aspect of life that I need you to see this thing. I want you to see, I had to go with my biological dad to eat eggs like this. But that went totally against me. And that went totally against I. And what I want to do now, from now on, is I never again want to do that. And that was so stupid for me. I mean, guess what? When that was the most negativity I've fucking done to eggs before. I mean, guess what? I understand no matter what. I mean, why? I mean, why did I do that? I mean, guess what? I mean, there was something that overtook me. And the thing that overtook me is pleasure. And pleasure for what? I mean, it's more how Jesus Christ's day is Easter. And now he wants to fucking do it for what? I mean, no. I mean, there's such big confusion about this, man. I figure it out now. I mean, I went and done it for Jesus Christ. I've done it for Jesus Christ. I never done it for him. But the thing is that I realized something. Russian Jesus Christ, I mean, does Jesus Christ do that? Russian Jesus Christ says no. Russian Jesus Christ never does that. I mean, that's the worst thing I've done. I mean, why? I mean, why? I mean, why? I mean, he's such a person to do that to me. You understand? So that's the most violence I've ever seen in my life. So I see this now. I see that's the most. I mean, that's pleasure with my biological dad to get negative. I see this now, and guess what? I want you to see this. I want you to see that he's very negative on me, in a way that he's trying to teach me to crack eggs. He's trying to teach me to crack chicken eggs here. And I did. I went to crack chicken eggs, but I'm vegan, man. And that went totally against me. Totally. I never again want to do this. I was so stupid. But guess what? I was unaware. I was unaware of this. I didn't want to do that again. But guess what? Guess what I can do now? I can let it go. I can forgive him. I'll move on. I never eat chicken eggs ever again. I never eat chicken eggs. But guess what, Broshi? It's more how Jesus Christ says, I respect mother and father. But to say no to him here, Broshi, I get more attractiveness here. But does Jesus Christ say no to him? Broshi, Jesus Christ says no. I mean, Jesus Christ says, I never need to do that with you, but you can go crack eggs or something. And speak words to him. And now, because that was happening, Broshi, it's the first time I see now that I was unaware about it, totally. I was totally unaware about what was going on. And what I need to do all the time is figure this out now. But if I give him a lot of pleasure, then he wants to attract me for pleasure. I mean, he's trying to attract me for pleasure. I mean, now, what I do now is I learn something quick. I learn to express all that very quickly, and I see it's the most fucking stupid thing Orthodox people do. And they crack eggs, and guess what? I speak in a way that's, I agree with it, but I never want to do it again. I never want to do it this again. I mean, that's the most stupid thing. So what I want to do now is I'm never eating meat again. I'm never cracking eggs again. I mean, that's the most fucking thing. I mean, that's the most stupid thing I've ever done in my life. I said, and I never care about him. I care about him, but I never want to do that with him again. I never want to do that again with him. And now, guess what? I move on now. I realize that's violence. I mean, what was that? I mean, that is something that was happening in my childhood before, where I was cracking eggs a lot with my biological dad. And it brings this fucking Easter. I mean, guess what? I mean, let it be Easter. But he brings this up about eggs. I mean, they're killing animals for Jesus Christ. And that's what's happening. I mean, they agree to kill animals for Jesus Christ. And that's what's happening with Orthodox people. And they fucking hit eggs. And what the fuck is that? That's so stupid. That's the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. I would never fucking crack eggs for Jesus Christ. I mean, now, guess what? I mean, you have to do it for Jesus Christ. But guess what? I mean, never crack eggs. I understand? But guess what? Never crack eggs. But do something else for Jesus Christ. But now, that's better, yeah? But now, what I want to do is now I realize something that's much better than that. Whereas now, I feel that it's damage. Or I feel he done damage to me. I feel somebody done damage to me. In the eye. My eye's here. But the thing is, I realize now, since I'm aware about what's going on, I'm much more on top of it now. I realize I'm much more aware about this moment. I never want to do it again. I never want to crack eggs with other people. I never crack eggs with other people. I mean, that's the most stupid thing I've ever seen in my life. And he never realizes this. Unfortunately, now, guess what? Unfortunately, that's stupid for me. Understand? And guess what now? Whereas everything else, unfortunately now, the hat stuff, unfortunately, no matter what, whereas it's much more connection. But guess what? I realize now, no matter what now, I realize I move on now. I can move on, but I feel now that I've done something to be stupid about animals. And it's cruelty. Whereas my biological dad was making me cruelty. And it's more I. I mean, although, he's the one fucking inviting me there. I mean, he's the one who did invite me here. And he influences me to be violent with animals. Whereas that's it. He's the one who's influencing me to crack eggs. But why was I influencing myself to do it with him? I mean, that's the thing. I was totally unaware of what was happening. I was totally unaware. But now, either way, I focus on understanding that totally goes against, I mean, who's going to win over who. That's the most stupid thing. I mean, here, it's more, when you crack eggs with somebody else, in terms of Easter, an Orthodox Easter, and you win, which the other person is jealous of you. I mean, I promise you, and it's the fucking most violent act I've ever seen in my life. I want you to see this now. I understand the eggs are already finito. I mean, the eggs are already finito, and I understand something now. I can say it's still cruelty. To even touch the eggs, I mean, to even hit the eggs and crack the shell is very cruelty, in terms of very much cruelty, in terms of there's a lot of cruelty going on here. So I'm understanding anyway that when I really understand this, that I realize I'm never eating those eggs. I'm never fucking eating those eggs. But guess what? I rush it that because when I did crack it before, I crack it now. But I do it better. And I never ever eat eggs. I never crack eggs. But now, since I understand that, whereas it's much more how I feel. And I feel that one there has much more pleasure temples with me. But what I want to understand now, I express myself differently now. And since that's the case, it's more how I was doing it for what? I mean, what was I doing for here? I was doing it for Jesus Christ here. I mean, Jesus Christ here is the law here. I mean, Jesus Christ for me is the law to hit the eggs. I mean, guess what? It's actually my biological dad. I mean, my biological dad is the law. But it's Easter. I mean, Easter is Jesus Christ Day. I mean, guess what? I mean, that's it. So either way, I mean, he's the one who led me there. Jesus Christ never led me there. You understand? So what I do is I let it be now. But now since I really understand the habit of here, I never want to do that again. I never want to crack eggs like that again. I am a vegan. I'm never cruel. I'm never cruel. But it's the first time my biological dad did convince me to do something like this. Understand? And guess what, Proshi, now? If he tries to convince me to come with him, I have to go and do this now. I have to come with him. But guess what? Proshi, it's more how I feel. I feel in a way, and no matter what I do, I feel that I'm actually going to just let it be. I'm never violent. But guess what, Proshi, that did rob me. Proshi, now, that did rob me a lot. But is my wisdom here? Proshi, no. I lost wisdom for that. I love her. But what am I doing now? I have to recover the wisdom. But the wisdom here, Proshi, the wisdom's for that, Proshi, the wisdom went away. Proshi, he made me more unaware about that. Proshi, now, guess what, Proshi, now? Because I understand that, I understand either way, the wisdom is always with you. Proshi, Jesus Christ says no. Proshi, it's much more. Yes, it is. Whereas now, I understand either way, what I do is I never lost information about anything. But I realize now, it's just a mistake. It's just a mistake. And I was so unaware of what's going on, that he was so fast. I mean, my biological dad was so fast to even convince me here. I mean, how do I let that happen? I mean, understand? So what I do now is a little bit, I have to move on now. I have to move on. But it gets me angry. And it doesn't really get me angry. Proshi, no. Proshi, it's more how I feel. I have to forgive. I have to forgive myself. I have to forgive myself here for doing cruelty to the chickens. I feel that I went and did kill those chickens. Proshi, I never did kill the chickens. I feel that I did damage the chickens. I understand? I feel like that. Proshi, no. I feel I did damage the shells. That's what I understand. I feel I did damage the eggshells of the chickens. That's cruelty to me. I take full responsibility now to never do that again. Make sure of it. I do full responsibility to never crack eggshells from chickens ever again. I'm a vegan. My biological dad only has food like honey and eats eggs and meats, and that's all he has to offer me, man. The best he can do with me is chips. He can only do chips with me, man. He can put me some chips. I mean, he has no cooking strategies, man. He has no cooking strategy forever. What I said? I mean, either way. But what I do now is I focus upon something. I have to make some music. But make sure I understand something now. A little bit, or to make sure this. I make sure that it made me very angry or did it. But no. It's more how I have to lift myself from that situation to learn from it. I became more aware. I move on a little bit. I have to move on. So what I do now is I understand no matter what, I feel like eating something now. I feel like eating something now in terms of pleasure to then do my nice beautiful words to encourage myself to do music. And now, if that's the case, then go ahead. I mean, I want to eat, let's say, what do I want to eat? I have pasta. Now, do I want to eat pasta right away? Probably, why not? I mean, I'll go make some pasta. I'll make some pasta right now, but guess what? I realize I can eat right away. And either way, I want you to see this. But since I do that, I can always speak to my biological dad. Now, since I do this now, I'm picking up strategies that, yes, I didn't have a connection with my biological dad for this. Now, was there a connection with my biological dad here in terms of cracking eggs? Now, yes. Now, Jesus Christ says, in a way, yes. There's a connection here with me and him, but I mean, that was going against animals. That was going against animals to have a connection. That was going pleasure way to have a connection. He wants to connect with me on a pleasure basis. My biological dad wants to connect with me he wants to connect with me on a pleasure basis. So what I do is I show him my pasta. I show him also my microphone here. I say, what's this for? I say, yeah, my wall over there. I ne znam šta je ovo.
Deni, koji ti je kurac, Deni?
Ja imam ovo.
Šta ti je?
Ja kažem ovo ovdje.
Šta je bilo? Postavi to tu.
Right now. So what I do now, whereas he gets angry at pleasure now. So what I do now is realize this. Whereas if he shouts at me for showing him, let's say, materials, which means that he is removing himself from pleasure. I mean, he's removing himself from pleasure because he wants to talk now. Which my biological dad wants to talk to me when he has cigarettes in mine. I see this. I see now. That's the case now. Which is very in confusion. Which I can see my biological dad is very much in confusion about life. But because it's when he, I realized my mom, I realized when my biological dad smells in terms of starts smoking cigarettes, but she wants to talk much more words. I can see this. Either way, but she never cares about the pleasure world when he has pleasure. In a sense, that's what I mean. I say Jesus Christ understands. But guess what? I feel so bad about the chickens. I never want now. I never want to do that again. In a sense, anyway, I'm never eating chickens. I'm never eating meat ever again. I said that, but he can never convince me to eat meat. But that there was a habit. I understand Jesus Christ can understand. I have a habit doing that. I have such a habit that every fucking year my biological dad says, hey, come crack the eggs, man. And come crack the chicken eggs. I mean, for fuck's sake. It's very unattractive here. It's very unattractive. It was making me unattractive like this. I forgive why. I mean, I never fucking... I never did ask him at first to do it with me. In a way that... I was never asking him to, let's say... I was never asking him to crack chickens with me. But I'll make sure always to pour 500 grams of pasta always inside my Nice and Beautiful saucepan. And saucepan is a frying pan. I say, boys. I say, how are you? I say, good boy. I see my Nice and Beautiful dogs over there. Something different, and I just do it. Because guess what? So what the thing is about life over here is you have to learn how to grow yourself in different ways. And you have to be quick about learning how to go and persuade yourself how to be more greatness. So the best way is what? And the best way is more words. And speak more words, and that's it. But because I do that, I'm much more ahead of other people. So I'm using my biological dad's, let's say, law nuts, or a Nice and Beautiful, let's say, where he goes and does the coffee with a Nice and Beautiful way of his actual coffee maker. It's one of those metal plates, in terms of metal cups that he places on the stove. And I'm placing hot water into the actual coffee maker that he does with, and I'm placing hot water inside this actual frying pan right now with the actual pasta. And I'm just teaching you guys exactly what I'm doing in my life. I'm giving you my story, yeah? I'm giving you my story along the way about everything that I'm doing every single day. And I'm just giving you ideas about that. Which that's all I teach. I just teach you every single day to understand my words. That's it. I'll let it that way. And now I let it boil. I'll make sure I understand. I'm vegan. I'm never fucking eating meat, man. I mean, what the fuck? I mean, how the fuck did he convince me to do that? I mean, my biological dad did convince me to fucking crack some eggs. I mean, why, man? He eats eggs, but I mean, why was I unaware about that? I never did plan it. I never did plan that. But I did say it before. I did say to never crack eggs. But why did I fall unaware of here? And that's the thing. I did fall unaware. I said never to crack eggs again with anybody. I mean, why did I do it? I was unaware. I was unaware of it. I mean, wisdom falls out like that. I mean, guess what? Probably, yeah. I have a better memory now. Whereas anyway, I just move on now. I want to be quiet now. As I'm quiet now, I'm understanding that no matter what, I'm talking to you always. I'm making sure that no matter what, that I have much more to say, much more to do. So I realize that he's sitting out here. I understand that he wants to talk. I want to see either way. I want you to go away. 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 But here's what I realized. That he is someone, I never want to pleasure people with words. When I want to pleasure myself with words only. But that's the thing. If I pleasure other people with words, I have more enough for myself. I have more enough words for myself here. I win already. Alright, so what I do now is understand that no matter what, there's difference. And what I want to do is upload content. I want to upload content now. I want to get ahead of the game right now. I want to go do something different. I'm not saying I can play music, but I'm doing different aspects of life now. And since I'm always understanding something about life, I understand that it's more how he does love me in terms of my bullshit that does love me, but he is more pleasure, love for me. I mean, he fucking gives me all the materials, man. And that's my biggest advantage now with him. That I can convince him to do anything around pleasure. I mean, because he associates his son around pleasure. That's it. I mean, he finds pleasure having me around. I mean, and that's it. I mean, there's a big difference between how I am now and how I was 5 years ago with him. But every single time, I now understand anyway. That what I do now is I upload content very quickly online, because you have to be always uploading content, guys. I mean, you have to be uploading something online. And now, since my YouTube is like that, I have to upload more videos to YouTube. But that's the thing. That's the thing. So what I want to do is let it be now. I want to leverage audio all the way. I want to leverage audio all the way with you, because what's important for me is understanding to do so in a way that I understand. I'm much better at talking audio right now with you than talking on a video. And why is that? Because I'm improving communicational skills right now with you, and I'm making sure that you guys can hear my story. And now, since I'm doing that, I want to upload these photos, and then I always upload all the content. I upload all the content first, and then I do my music production, which is so much more important for me, because I understand that I have so much content to do. And now, since I have so much content to do, I mean, I have to be able to do that. And now I can do it because I have words to say. And now my business is picking up. And now, since business is picking up, I understand that I can feel pleasure with some people. I'm making sure that either way I focus on understanding that what I want to do is words. And now, since I understand either way that my biological dad is pleasure, I'm understanding that I feel Maria Pretikosa is somebody who wants pleasure from me right now. When she wants some pleasure from me right now, I can feel it. And it's more how it's much more intense about that. But much understanding anyway. It's much more my pleasure temples are saying that. I mean, my pleasure temples are saying that she is somewhere around pleasure with me right here. I mean, right now, she has some kind of pleasure temple going with me here. I mean, she finds me attractive here. I mean, and now that's words. Now, I must understand that if anything happens where pleasure is coming up, I must understand it's much more how I feel about life. So what I do is I focus on I. But I'm understanding either way. I can feel how other people are saying, look at the days, man. I mean, look at how we were. I mean, we were so different. I mean, back then it was so different. I mean, I still remember the Bieber days. I remember there was Bieber, or there was MySpace. Whereas now, I can feel other people just saying, I mean, he's gone, man. I mean, he's gone somewhere else now. I feel other people saying how I left them. I can feel it. I can feel the words over here. I can feel the words around them. And I said they're talking good about me. Whereas now I understand either way that what I do now is I focus on making sure my life is ahead of me. And making sure I understand now, I can feel them talking about how I am right now and how I was before. And how do I feel? I mean, how do I understand that? I can see through the actual talk of what's going on in my life. I can see everything. I can say now what I want to do is love myself, because when I love myself, I let it be. But I'm focusing always on understanding how my life goes with different aspects of life. But I understand now with Mira Kinage, or should I give her a bottle of water? I give peanuts. I give her peanut butter. I understand her bulge that is watching. I give her vegetable stock powder. I give her a plastic bag. I give her my tracksuit pants. I give her my socks. I give her my socks. I give her my socks. I give her a knife. I give her my knife over here. I have a plastic knife. I give her some CDs. So Jesus Christ could see how I am with me of a good age. I give her some earphones. I give her the shaver. I give her the shaver. I give her some sunscreen. I give a zvezda. I give the portrait. I got that portrait over there. I give the fan. I give the fan. I give this portrait of my biological dad. I said, I want that over, bro. I was like, give the rubbish bin. I was. And there's so much to give, man. I see Jesus Christ can understand. But the thing is, I mean, you have to give people who want pleasure, you have to give them all these possessions, man. And they feel rich. And they feel so rich. I'm rich in words, though. I'm rich in words. Words is everything. I give it a refrigerator. Right now, that's too much to carry, but the thing is, I understand that. My biological dad tries to give me all these possessions to try pleasure me into temptation here. And he tries to give me all of this over here to say, hey, you're rich. And he wants me to be rich with what I have over here. I mean, my biological dad's signals for me to be rich is look at the house. I gave you everything. I gave you portraits. I understand Jesus Christ understands this. I gave you camping chair. I gave you rubbish bin. I gave you heater. I gave you air condition. I gave you a lampa. I gave you the couch. I gave you the glass table. I gave you cowboy hats. And he wants me to be rich in materials, man. He wants me to be rich. I mean, he believes richness is materials. And he gave me a computer chair. You understand? I mean, wow. I mean, all money. I mean, he's giving me money here. I mean, all of it's money. But I'm just a word I. Mostly because he loves me, and that's why. But think about this. When he's thinking about richness in the poor way. I grew up in this house with the poorest people in the planet, man. And now, they're never the poorest people in the planet, but in materials, guess what? Oof. I say African people, those people over there in Africa, they have less materials. They're richer than, let's say, my biological dad in terms of materials. African people, I mean, all of them are richer than my dad in, let's say, materials. But there are some Africans that have more materials than my biological dad. But the ones that are really in poverty, or as the Africans that are really in poverty, have more richness in words than my biological dad. I can understand that. Because to them, it's never the materials. It's more the words. I mean, let's talk words to get out of this place. I can feel it. I grew up in a place of fucking full material possessions everywhere. I mean, materials everywhere, man. I mean, what a facade. But guess what? I mean, right now it's the truth. It's the truth. Ooh. But it's like a brick. I mean, if you're here and you never did travel anywhere, and it's like, how do I fucking move this whole fucking house somewhere else? I mean, whoa, man, so much weight, yeah? There's so much weight because there's all these possessions around you. And it's like, how do I move across the world now with all these possessions? And those are the limits. I broke the limits by moving away from the house. As soon as I did move away from the house, I broke all the limits. And now when I see it now, I say it's my biological dad's possessions. That's not mine. I understand. But liars say, a liar says that, for example, they say that their biological dad or family didn't get them in the car, but it's their car. But it's their car now. I mean, that's the biggest lie. I mean, it's the biggest lie. I mean, they're trying to own the car. I mean, all you say is it's never your car, but your biological dad didn't get it for you. Whereas now, you're much more honest, but you understand that it's never your car. I understand? And the best decision I made is never ever driving that Toyota Starlet anymore. I go with Ferraris now. I go with Uber drivers. I have people driving me. Whereas now, I mean, that's in. But with pleasure, I can ask any woman now. I can say, hey, I see you over here. I say, I want to get your number. I want to get your number. I mean, why? I mean, you look very nice with the bicycle. I mean, you look very nice with the bike over here. I mean, really? I say, yeah, I'll get you some food. I'll get you some food. I mean, hurry up. Hurry up. I say, yeah. I say, now, I want to bring you some food. I mean, she says, when? I say, I'll bring it to you tonight. What are you bringing? I'll bring some cake for you. Bring some cake. I mean, straight away I get to have sex with it. I mean, why? Because I'm directing the actual conversation to pleasure. And that's it. Understand? It's pleasure. It's all pleasure communication. So if I go to her, in terms of this woman, I say, hey, I want to give you something. And now, she wants to, guess what? That's more words. But then she says, what? Online. So I want to give you some money. Now she may say, how much? I say, let me come in and give it to you. I'll give you some money. Whereas now, either way, Roger, from this point, then guess what? I have to show her some money. I have to give her some money. I have to show her something. I have to give her a number. I'll give you $20. I give you $100. I give you $50. I give you $50. Understand? I give you $1 million. Roger, now, really? Roger, I'll give you $50. And she says, oh, why? She said, why? I say, I have something to give you. And what is it now? A plastic bag. What? Yeah, I have a plastic bag. Show me. She wants to see my plastic bag. She wants to see my plastic bag. I'll come get you now. And now she wants to see me. Because why? Because I'm showing a plastic bag and some money. She wants to see me because I tell her that I'll show her a plastic bag and money. But if I said this online and I said, hey, I want to send you my love. I want to see you. Roger should said, and she never replies. Roger should never reply. Why? They reply only when I say, hey, I want to give you my car. And she'll say, what? You want to give me your car? I say, I'll give you my car right now. She'll say, come over. I say, no worries. I understand, but straight away, that's how they are. Because you're giving possessions. When you give materials to people, Porsche straight away want you. Porsche, anyway, Porsche, I feel that one there is more communication with me. But if somebody's more communicational words with you, guess what happens, Porsche? They never fall for this. Porsche, they never fall for this. But that's why they're attractive. And what you need to do daily is to learn that now, since I'm doing audio programs like this, I can speak all day long. And I'm pushing my boundaries. And since I'm pushing my boundaries, I get to just live my life. I get to live better and better and better. But I feel those prostitutes out there, at that place, I feel they want pleasure now. I feel it. I feel they want pleasure. I don't want to go over there. I want to make sure. Anyway, what I do is I do a better life. And I have to count my finances. And now, I do that right away. So what I want to understand now is just upload this. And I understand my habits over here and how lazy I was. I was so lazy with my communicational skills with you. Understand? But I went from, let's say, 3-hour programs to 14-hour programs and more daily. And because I do that, I make sure I never do that thing with Billy Campbell ever again. I never want to go that way. That's all pleasure. I don't care about that. Whereas it's more how I already did give you the story. But every single time now, I realize that I feel a lot of pleasure with this woman over here. But I understand that what's amazing is I feel how I need to relax. And it's more how I see communication and pleasure with her. And she's New Zealand. She's a New Zealander. But I feel how I understand that she sees me attractive. A little bit. Now, this woman who I feel communication and pleasure with, that's a connection. That's a connection. They're a beautiful woman. I have two connections here, but with Bojana Gagic, especially her, I feel pleasure only, and she just wants me for pleasure. Anyway, which the thing is about me, that if I do anything to succeed, I do the best kind of obvious over here. It's more how I feel that one there wants me for pleasure, but she wants to communicate words to me too. Whereas now I feel how I feel that I understand anyway that she's somebody from the past, and I say that she's somewhere around. But I see this other one, and I see this other one, and now since I'm understanding that, I realize that she, in terms of this one, wants me for pleasure, and she wants me for words as well. And she feels, I mean, she looks so attractive to me. I mean, either way, I realize now what I want to do is, since I do feel like that, I'll just do better. But I feel anytime I want to express myself, I go ahead. And now, it's more, I can say their names too. I feel so afraid to even say their names. I mean, what for? I have to express their names. I have to show you their names. And now, that's the thing, unfortunately, that's why I was so much in connection with I here. I understand that if I expose it totally, it's much more I. And either way, I understand that Jovana Bagnak is one individual that when I look at her, I see she wants pleasure and sex with me in terms of words as well. But I see Milica Milutinovic, she wants sex with me and words. But Emily just wants words with me. I feel it. Now, I understand that Emilia's mum, in terms of Emilia's Milutinovic's mum, wants me to just understand something. That she wants me so much for pleasure. And it's much more pleasure than anything else. And she wants me just for pleasure. I mean, that's attractive to me. And she wants just that kind of vibe. But that Nevenka Vujasinovic, she is much more, she wants to talk words with me. That's it. And I understand that, but guess what I done? I did block her. I mean, why? I never need her. That's it. Either way, the thing is, I love it. Alright, now, because I'm understanding that, now, I just go and do on. Now, why did I block it? It's much more how I feel. I feel that I understand something. That I realize it's much more I. Realize it's much more I. I never need her. I never want to be with her in real life. And that's it. I mean, I understand that. But this other woman who's Jenny Olivevich, she is a woman who looks at me in terms of words, and that's all. I mean, she wants just words with me now. And why is that? I mean, that's the way it is. I mean, she's becoming more attractive, and that's it. But the thing is, when I name the names, when I give you the names of these people, then you're much more likely to understand I'm being real with you. But that's the thing now. Whereas now, since I'm actually doing this, I want you to see it's much more how I feel. So what I want to do is I want to elaborate much more about everything I'm doing now. So I'm understanding that I want to coach you much more about something different. And it's much more how if I go around doing anything around life or doing anything around, let's say, elaborating something, I want to be able to expose myself in what I'm talking about always in the true light about everything. Because that way, I understand that way, I'm learning very fast on how to open up my communicational skills with you. That's it. So now either way, unfortunately, if you want to go and really, really dwell upon anything about life itself, now understand that what is important is understanding that the interest of life in terms of what you want is to understand my story. I mean, my story and how I am. And now that's all my story. Understand? I mean, that's how I am. And regardless of what you believe, I mean, you must understand, I feel that kind of tension. Now, either way, I feel every single time that I have to go and see my pastor, but making sure that I'm learning very quickly. And now, either way, I have time. I'm feeling greater now. I'm feeling much more better. I'm feeling much more how I do. But you must understand, so I realize that my biological dad's watching the television, or she's watching the television. But guess what? Whereas either way, I mean, if you want to do something much more, to realize every single day to focus on being where you are when you cook. I mean, never go anywhere other than where your frying pan is. I mean, be where your frying pan is, but I'm better than cigarettes. Whereas now, I see the temptation here to smoke cigarettes, but I never want to smoke cigarettes. And now, think about this. I realize it's been already over 2 years since I've done cigarettes. But guess what? Whereas I want to make sure that I can show him some food. I can show my biological dad some food over here because he's ready to see this. And now since I'm doing that, I want to make sure that I focus upon something about here. And the thing is that I want to just show you, I'm just showing a connection with my nice and beautiful biological dad here. See,
Beži bre u
I see like, and that's the thing. See,
Šta radiš?
ja jedem ovdje.
A?
Ja te pitam, hoćeš?
Ne,
Nema problem.
ne. Hoćeš da izručiš tu vodu?
Ja imam ovdje, ja kažem ovako,
Molim?
kažem za ovo, pa i kako je?
Hoćeš da izručiš tu vodu?
Ja kažem, pa je dobro ovo. Ja te pitam. Ja ovako gledam pa vidim da to nešto ide lepo, ali ja vidim ovako.
Izruči to.
Ja izručujem ovako, ja
Ma
stavim.
bre, ovdje izruči.
Ja
Ma ovdje izruči.
izručim s ovim.
Ma idi bre, glupci.
Ja ti kažem ovako. See, so what's happening here? Is focus on this. I mean, my boss with that. I did scare the fuck out of him. When Jesus Christ can see this bad. When Jesus Christ can see this. He's so afraid. He's so afraid. He's so afraid of. He's so afraid of a frying pan. Šta se bojiš od? Jebote otac. I love everything. I love it. Alright, anyway. The funniest thing I just done with my biological dad is there's boiling water in the frying pan with pasta. It's steaming. I went to my biological dad to say, you want some? He's so fucking, he's backing off from this, man. He never wants to do this, man. I love it. I mean, it's the funniest thing, mate. It's like a cat. It's like a cat. I mean, he's running away. It's like a cat running away from a dog. It's like a cat running away from a dog. I mean, that was my biological dad. That was my biological dad. I mean, he's the cat, and the dog's chasing the cat. And the cat running away. I mean, the thing is, guys, it's just how I feel. So the funniest thing is that when I see his facial expression, man, and he's like, whoa. I mean, first, and he's like, oh, and he's full afraid, man. What are you afraid of, man? He's afraid of pasta, man. He's afraid of pasta. I love life. I said Jesus Christ is saying, excellent, I mean, keep doing that. I mean, that's, I'll show you something now. Because he's so afraid of this, I mean, now, he's actually becoming more communicative in terms of life. So, I mean, as I show him this stuff, and now what we're going to do is, he goes for one material position, I'll go for the other one. And that works. Actually works, and why? Because he's trying to help me with one aspect of life, I'm trying to help him with the other aspect of life. In a sense, what I do is I just do random things with possessions he has. I can go ask him whatever I want. Like if I ask him this one over here and I say, what is this? 이거 스타일.
The Roosters' spear Brett Morris has played his last
style.
NRL game. The 34-year-old suffered a serious knee
style.
injury last
Huh?
night's win
style.
over the Knights in
Tiga,
Newcastle.
что?
Кака тиган бичгон.
Молим?
Не стайл. Бакак я кака тиган. Я за что?
Ja,
Lindsay Collins also suffered a
I see
season-ending
either way.
knee injury whilst attending
Jesus Christ. I mean, guess what? I show my Baltic dad. I show my Baltic dad everything in terms of what he has. I show him already. Love life. I mean, imagine. Let's say. I mean, guess what? I apologize for breaking up, but make sure you understand that if I go and really do something, I'm never breaking up my communication. But guess what? Person that there is showing me that I have to be faster in terms of what I'm doing. But guess what? I want you to see this. If you're really understanding something about life, I mean, just understand this is my story. I mean, this is my story, and this is how I am, and I'm teaching you about how I am, regardless of what's saying. Regardless of what's happening. But I went to my biological dad to show him this fucking pan or some shit. I said, "What the fuck is this?" I mean, he loves it. I mean, he wants to explain this, man. I mean, he wants to say, and he says it's about eggs, man. I mean, yeah, it's about eggs, yeah. I mean, that's how he connects with me. I mean, it's like you connecting with me in a way that I show you a baseball bat. I say, what the fuck is this? I mean, then you say it's a baseball bat. What kind of fucking baseball bat? I mean, then you might say, are you fucking okay? I mean, what kind of baseball bat is it? I mean, it looks stupid, yeah? But my biological dad never realizes this. I can get my fucking mop. I can get a fucking mop right here. I get a mop, I show him the mop. I say, what the fuck is this? Then you say, it's a fucking mop. I say, what kind of fucking mop? I say, what kind of fucking mop is it? Say, it's fucking some mop. I mean, he's fully serious about this, man. So, can't get tips, man. You can't get tips. He accepts that, man. I mean, it's like a little baby. You give him something. It's like you're spoiling him with something, man. And he loves this. And he loves treasure. And he loves treasure. I mean, it's like when I give you a Ferrari, I give you a skyscraper, I give you an airplane, I give you toy cars, I give you a soccer ball. I mean, it's like I'm spoiling you. I mean, he loves to be. I mean, that's my Baltic dad. I mean, he loves to have people spoil him with anything. You know what I'm saying? When you give him a toaster and you put it on his table, and guess what happens? Well, she loves it. Well, she keeps it there for a bit. He keeps the toaster on his table when you give it to him. Understand? He loves possessions. I mean, guess what? I mean, if you get a frying pan and you put it on the table, then he'll keep it there for a bit. And you get a chair, I mean, you give him a chair, I mean, he'll keep it there for a bit. I understand? I mean, it's like that. It's funny, man. I taste it so much like this. It's the funniest thing. So what I do now is I focus on saying that either way, if you're learning something about life and you're learning how I do my pasta, I do a pasta at 500 grams of pasta per serve. Per serve. So what I do is I place pasta inside of my saucepan. Thank you. So Jesus Christ is saying, I thank you. See, Jesus Christ is saying how much this is teaching him to talk more to me in different ways. Whereas now, if you're understanding anyway, that what I do is I help people to talk more to me in terms of who's negative to me, in terms of pleasure. So I understand these Snapchat ladies, of course, they're all into pleasure. What she always says is, I have a car, I give my car. I mean, guess what, I'm the one. But I can go talk to her, just have fun with you. But make sure you understand that either way, that if I go and do greatness every single day, it's more how I'm talking to you, and I can do it, and it works out for me. But making sure all the time, that what I do every single time is I focus on understanding that if I want to do anything about life here, then make sure every single day I focus on understanding that I want to go and understand always that I feel much more alive. And now I understand that if I say that, it's much more how I need to move on in a way that I need to focus on something greater. So if I focus on something greater, It's not how you never bore the crowd about your life. But make sure you understand that it's all your life. So why would you? Why do you even believe that you bore your life? Never bore your life. But make sure you understand that I feel General Leverage has this nice agreeable pleasure signal with me over here. But guess what? Approach it's much more how I feel. Approach now I have to express everything like this with my words, so I can show you exactly who I am. Approach that's it. Approach now. If I understand anything about life, I make sure that I realize something a little bit now. Approach it's more how I feel. That my biological dad now realizes something about me. He realizes I'm giving him so much position, so and now when he realizes this, he's becoming more aware about what I'm doing to him. He realizes quickly on. If I give him all these possessions, much more. It's much better that I do so. But let it be there. I want you to see that if I keep doing it more and more, actually what happens is, he becomes more aware about possessions of his house. Which he says, fuck, it's no big deal. He says to his possessions, there's no big deal, but he's so afraid of the frying pan with food. I did scare him, man. I did scare him, so every single time, just understand, and no matter what, that now since I'm understanding that I realize something, that I may understand that no matter what, that you may understand that I'm always teaching you. I'm always teaching you something about life, but focus on understanding I'm having fun here. I'm having fun and I want to be able to show you something. I want to make sure you understand that people who have pleasure temples or anything like that, then what you do is you invite them to go and do pleasure somewhere as well, where they may want to do it with you. So if you understand to try something you've never done with them, first it's the best way to do so. But make sure you understand that no matter what, you understand something. That no matter what you're doing, you focus on a greater life always. I always have a connection with this Lauren. And then Lauren did hook up with me, and she is somebody that feels a lot of sexual attraction for me with words. I see it. Whereas either way, unfortunately now, I'm making sure that you understand that I'm always learning to pick up everything. Now, since I'm understanding, her name is Lauren Kostic. But guess what? Approach it's much more how I remember all these times. I remember all these times I had before, and it's much more how I feel now in a better way. I feel in a better way now. So as I'm doing much better, I feel that I need to just let it be, because guess what? Approach if I understand anything about life, then make sure you go and feel your pastor. Go and touch it. Go and touch it at the top. Touch bits and pieces of your pastor, and see is it working. But never ever place your finger in the actual boiling water. But pasta may be on the top somewhere. But that's ready to me. So what I do is I realize that my biological dad says pour in the vase over here, but no, I never want to do it his way. I'd say it's a smart idea, but I'm doing it another way. And what I do with actually doing something greater, I see that I can actually invite my dad into my biological dad. I now realize I go for it. Ja kažem ovako, da ti pokažem nešto. Hoću da ti pokažem nešto. Anyway, I see I'm about to show you something. Now this is the thing about life. Ja ovako. Ja jedem ovako. So anyway guys, I'm just make sure I'm just showing my biological dad how I was actually doing the nice and beautiful saucepan here. So what I do is I wash the nice and beautiful dishes over here in a way that it's working, in a way that I just show people very quickly about what's happening. So as I do something, I do it nice and beautifully in a way that it's all working. So as it works, and as I work, I realize that that's a nice and beautiful way to say, if you're showing people the ways you do life, and you're teaching them something, and they're watching, then guess what, approaching, that's the way. Okay, so what you do in life is enjoy yourself, to make sure that you're doing something that's helping you move forward. Because if you're moving forward in what you're doing today, then guess what happens? Then you're making sure that you're successful in all endeavors. And that's it. Just make sure you understand that no matter what you're doing, you can see I've been cooking for the past 30 minutes, and guess what? You must understand I've been doing an audio program. And since I understand anyway, I realize about something about life. I see it's much more how I feel. If you realize something about life, I can see straight away how I really understand. So every single day I say I thank you. I realize now, no matter what, I realize it's much more how I understand. So what I understand about life is I always say I thank you. So if somebody's trying to close the door behind you, then what they're saying is that they want you to do words. And they want you to do much more words. I mean, so make sure you understand that what's important for myself right now is just to eat a bit and also to upload my content here and to make sure that I have everything I ever need to succeed in different ways, guys. If I make sure all the time, I just always understand that. And I want to just say this, I realize something. I want to just keep it up. I want to make sure that no matter what, that it's much more, if you realize something, then keep to your nice and beautiful schedule all the time in a way that you upload your content in a way that you understand.